podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Young Jamie, back in the fucking saddle. How you feeling?
Very well, thank you.
COVID-free, 4 days in a row now.
We've kicked it.
Yeah, and now you still can't taste anything?
Can't taste. Well,
You like a
started
battery?
to come back today, but yeah, like 5% taste. Yeah, it's gotta be pickle juice. Doesn't even taste like anything.
Really? It just
Yeah.
tastes like water?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Very weird.
But you don't have any residual symptoms? Nothing wrong?
All good. Can breathe everything. You know.
Good to see you back,
O2,
buddy.
good.
We're a little worried about you. Just a little worried about you. Not worried about you. Alex Jones.
This is the most anticipated thing I ever did. I've probably had, no exaggeration, 2,000 or 3,000 people in the last year and a half ask me, when are you going back on Joe Rogan? And I'm always saying, I don't know. And then I learned you were moving here like 3-4 months ago, and now we're here, and this is exciting. I don't get butterflies anymore, but I actually have them here, and this is great. It's good to have butterflies after about 20 years. Didn't get it the last 2 times I was on. Didn't get it when I interviewed Trump. Didn't get it in a lot of things, but I've got butterflies here today.
And Tim motherfucking Dillon.
Yeah, I'm just a kid in a candy store. Thank
too.
you. Thank you for making this dream come true. This is what I've always wanted to do, and we've made it happen. This is my Make-A-Wish. I can die happy.
Well, I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, I got my Free Just Lane shirt because I believe all women.
Is that how you say it?
I think so, yeah.
I thought
Just
it was
Lane.
Ghislaine. I thought it was
It
Ghislaine.
might be Ghislaine.
It's Ghislaine.
Do you know?
Oh, look at me. No,
Ghislaine?
It's Ghislaine.
Ghislaine? That's a ridiculous name.
Yeah.
Her father was a famous MI6 Mossad spy that reportedly used sex operatives to control people. He died being thrown off a yacht in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And, of course, she got caught in that farmhouse on the East Coast. And she was really the pimp over Epstein in a giant sex network ring over scientists that they were compromising so they could control not just government, but industry and science. And so that was the master blackmail operation they were running.
And her sisters are big in tech. Like Isabel Maxwell, she has sisters that are in U.S. tech companies. And I think 2 of her sisters were part of the creation of Magellan, which was that big search engine. Like,
Really?
So, yeah, they are a very powerful family, and they have all kinds of different operations.
Yeah, her dad was the biggest publisher in England and also the biggest owner of private TV stations in England. And when he died, it turned out he was a front basically for intelligence networks.
Now, let me, right off the bat, say you were telling me about Epstein and this island years ago. You were telling me long before anybody, I think you told me about him before his first arrest.
A long time ago, I talked about how they have these islands, they fly, they compromise children. But I learned all this from Ted Gunderson 20 plus years ago. He was in line to be the FBI director. He was the head of the FBI in Los Angeles. He was a very famous FBI agent. He even ran COINTELPRO against the civil rights movement. He apologized for that before he died in 2011. But he came out and he was the one that explained to me about how they use these blackmail rings, elements of the CIA and foreign intelligence groups, and how they would basically make people have sex with children to be part of these clubs and these cults they were setting up. So I knew about all this from Ted Gunderson.
Were they young girls did they tell them these girls were underage, or did they look like they were older? Like this, the Borat movie where they
Giuliani.
Try to set
supposedly
Giuliani
got-
up.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's very disappointing. Because
They set him up. I saw it, yeah.
they did set him up, but nothing happened. They made it look like Giuliani was jerking off in front of this girl.
He was taking his mic off.
He would have to be the biggest savage on earth to
do that.
jerk off
Yeah.
in that situation.
Right.
And they also said that he inappropriately touched her back. When he touched her back, I am not exaggerating, it was like this.
Right.
It was a couple of light taps on the back while she was close to him, taking off his mic thing. He goes, "Oh, thank you very much, dear." And he goes, I just need your name and your phone number." And then she takes off his mic, and then he leans back, and he's tucking his shirt back.
Because he just pulled the mic off.
Right, but he's lying on the bed to do it. Now,
Right.
if you're an old man, and I'm sure he's probably got a bad back, like, that's probably how you would do it.
But any of us that have had to put the mics on our side and then you put it in your pants up your shirt and then you've got to get it out. That's what you do. But it's worse than that. Remember when he was playing who was the gay character he played like 10 years ago? Bruno.
Yeah.
Remember Congressman Ron Paul at the time had run for president. And he's in the hotel. He goes, "Oh, the light broke. Please step into this room." So there's no chair. Ron Paul sits down. And he's reading a newspaper. And Bruno comes in and pulls his pants down and says, "I want to have sex with you." Now, that would be sexual assault if that was a man to a woman.
Right.
Ron Paul pushes him out of the way, goes out of the room. And so this is what he does. He's done it to other people. It's his specialty is to say you're being interviewed.
Yeah,
here it is.
Listen, let me just, before we go any further, I fucking love
He is very
Sacha
funny.
Baron Cohen.
He's a
I love
comic
him.
genius,
I
yeah.
think he's brilliant. I think
Yeah.
he's amazing. But his interpretation of what happened in the room with Rudy Giuliani, it's not accurate, in my opinion.
Well, listen, I mean, in Who is America?
See, he's
Yeah.
he's tapping her while she's touching him and removing his mic. He does this little tap on her waist, but it's not creepy. It's like an old man, like a little tap, tap, tap.
Right.
Like if you want to take it out of context, like I don't know if there's more to it than.
But
what
let's go
seeing.
further. Let's go further. Right after this happens, Borat, Sacha Baron Cohen, runs in panties and a bra saying, have sex with me, she's 15, she's too old.
Yes.
So this is, and Giuliani's like, what the, I'd have a heart, like, what is this?
Listen, my fucking 12-year-old sense of humor loved it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is they're making it seem like Giuliani was jerking off in front of her.
Yeah.
And that's not, like, he lies back and he's tucking his pants. Like, can we show the whole thing so we can look at it? We don't have to.
They put it out as promotional material.
What's that, Jamie?
So we can watch it in here, but
Yeah.
I'll be
Well, let's just.
I mean, I think Jamie's
let's
right.
just
These are a
us.
big show. They'll try to tag you.
Yeah.
But they put this out as promotional material to be promoted. They put it out on Twitter.
The clip is on Miss Pat's. Give a shout out to Miss Pat.
I mean, Jamie's
Comedian
technically
Miss
right,
Pat
though.
On Instagram. It's on her Instagram if you want to.
But let me drop a bombshell on you, Joe.
Okay, a bombshell.
No. I've been a big fan of Sacha Baron Cohen until I learned he spoke at the ADL last year and called for my arrest for free speech. And he called for Jeff Zuckerberg's arrest, or Mark Zuckerberg's arrest. So he called for my arrest and for Mark Zuckerberg's arrest for free speech.
Hey, he wants to work in Hollywood.
Right.
You got to do what you got to do.
No,
to
but let's
make
go
those movie
further.
deals.
I don't agree, but I mean, he said arrest people for their free speech, and he supports internet censorship. So how does he make his money being this avant-garde, cutting-edge, really, over-the-edge comic that does things that could technically be seen as illegal? I support his free speech, and then he says I don't deserve it.
Well,
it's really
he's-
dangerous.
He's flawed, like many great artists.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm until they come for him, he's not going to understand the slippery slope of censorship. And this is another thing that,
We're gonna get to, yeah.
people have criticized me for being friends with you and for talking to you, and they also criticized me for not supporting a lot of these people that got banned and deplatformed. My take on it has always been the best way to counter wrong speech is correct speech.
Right.
When someone says something that's wrong, or someone says a conspiracy theory that's not accurate, the best way to counter that is to do better speech, to have people say the accurate information and to let the truth rise to the top. When you start censoring people, the problem is it's a fucking slippery slope. And there's a reason why we've been so steadfast in supporting the First Amendment in this country. And people think it doesn't apply to tech because these tech institutes are private businesses and they should be able to do whatever they want with their private business. The problem is that fucking slippery slope has gone from censoring you, from banning Alex Jones off Twitter a year and a half ago, to getting the White House press secretary banned off Twitter because she posts something from the New York Post, which is
Right.
crazy.
It's crazy.
That's a 200 and whatever year old
America's
newspaper.
oldest newspaper.
And what she said, the Post, what they printed and put out there is accurate.
Well, let's go further. They're denying that it's a real story, but they don't ever say the emails are fake. They just say it's a smear. No, it's a real laptop. The videos have been released. It's confirmed. But just think about this.
Well, it is a smear in that they're putting it out there. They're timing it.
Sure, but they're not denying.
make-
They're not denying it's real.
No, it's real. It's real.
How did this laptop become this big story?
That's where it gets tricky.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Because supposedly he dropped it off at a
In
laptop
Delaware.
repair shop in Delaware.
What an
But
idiot. I mean, who's
but
doing
also-
that?
Well, a crackhead.
Right.
The guy's
Good
doing,
point.
The guy's smoking
I
crack.
keep forgetting he smokes crack.
Yeah, well, he
Yes.
did at the time. Apparently,
Yes.
he's kicked it. So
Okay.
congratulations to him. But the guy had some problems. Now,
Right.
this is self-admitted, and also
And they have the receipts. And here's the thing. He calls him dozens of times. Because everybody knows when you bring a laptop or anything in, they say, if you don't pay for this, we're going to wipe it and sell it. And so 3 months goes by, 6 months goes by. Nobody ever comes and gets it. The guy goes to look at it at the repair shop, the owner, and there's all these 25,000 files, what looks like underage girls, and all the rest of this crazy stuff, and him smoking crack or God knows what. He gives it to the FBI. Ray does nothing. The director hides it from Trump. And so people, let's just say inside that had copies of that, they leak it to Rudolph Giuliani, who then now has started to put it out. So instead of facing up to it, they just say anyone promoting this, whether it's the House or Senate committees that we're linking to it, or the New York Post or the president's press secretary, you're now banned, which again shows it's election meddling. It's gatekeeping to cover this up. But I'll tell you what else has come out now. His daughter, Biden's daughters, reportedly, and they've not denied it now, this broke 3 days ago, left her diary in a house that she had rented. And the diary talks about all the same stuff and everything.
What
That
the,
is
wait a minute.
so
What
convenient.
the fuck is wrong with
Were
this
you
family?
going to jump in? Hold on a second.
Wait a minute, hold
Jamie?
on.
When I was looking into this, the thing I keep seeing people say is that he lived in California.
He lived in California at the
So
time.
is that,
Yeah.
that is true.
That's what I keep reading.
But they
as
fly
well.
back and forth to Delaware. I mean, these are jet setters. They fly to Ukraine.
Well,
They're-
that also might make sense that's why he didn't go back to Delaware to pick up the laptop. Because when you're cracked out in California, it's really hard to make the flight.
right.
right?
I don't know.
Hold on.
so-
Tim is the only one here who's probably
Guys,
smoked
the
crack.
FBI confirms they had a
I
laptop
will
now.
confirm it's not an easy flight coming down off cocaine or crack. Yeah.
Have you smoked crack or just
I've never
coke?
freebase cocaine, which
Well, that's
is
basically the
yeah,
same.
it's close.
How close is it?
Not as close as where I ever went and made shady deals in the Ukraine.
Well, that's the
never
other
done
thing.
that.
By the way,
How
that's in
does
the emails.
Biden-
That's in the emails. Finally, where it's like, yeah, I need 30 million. Part of it goes to the big guy. And they're like, okay, we want to meet with your dad. And there's photos of them meeting and playing golf. So let me tell you, this is real. The FBI has the files. They admit it's real. It's a big deal.
But it's a real problem to ban this stuff from
about this
Twitter.
part of it? Came
Putin
out
rejects
yesterday.
Donald Trump's criticism of Biden family business. Well, because it's Russia's bribing Hunter Biden. and
3.5
bribing-
million through
Yeah.
through Putin, through the Moscow mayor who he's friends with, to Hunter Biden again.
Well, if I was Putin, I would deny it too. Listen, Putin has got to love this. If I was Putin sitting back,
Right.
watching these fucking people eat themselves alive and destroy the First Amendment, destroy democracy.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
I'm sure they have a hand in it. I'm sure China has a hand in it. I'm sure Iran has a hand in
Yeah.
it. This is what the intelligence communities have been telling us for a long time now, is that it's not just one foreign company or foreign country that's trying to fuck with our democracy. It's
Yeah, the
multiple.
idea that the Russians have a monopoly on this.
No.
I mean, if the Russians were an NFL football team, they'd be like in the lower third.
And by
I mean,
the-
the U.S. and China are the top teams.
Right.
And we
Right.
should say
Right.
the United States does it too.
Sure.
It's 100% confirmed.
Sure,
United
the idea
States-
that Russians got Trump in is asinine because here's what happens. Notice they tried to impeach Trump just 9 months ago for stuff in Ukraine because whatever they are worried about, they project. Okay, so Trump doesn't have Russia connections. Trump doesn't have those connections. Trump doesn't have those outside connections. You can't buy him. He doesn't have lobbyists. The problem is he then has family and people around him that basically become lobbyists for themselves, and Trump isn't really even aware of it. And then that's going on. And I mean, even junior aides now, you'll find out have people giving them millions of dollars just to say something to the president.
Is this standard shit? Is this just how politics have always been done? It's just that now we're seeing it?
Well, it was standard, let's say 200 years ago, that you'd go after the wife or the brother or somebody that works at the White House. It got organized the last 100 years with lobbyists. Trump literally cut the lobbyist off. But all it did was now make everyone around him a lobbyist, even though they're not officially a lobbyist.
How did he cut the lobbyists off?
He just stopped meeting with them and stopped and just said, I want briefings on what's going on. I'll decide. So that's why he pissed official Washington off. Not that he's even perfect, but that he actually became the president, sort of making decisions himself instead of having consortiums and lobbyists pay him for policy. That's why he says, Biden's raised more money than me. Of course, I can call up all these companies. They'll give me any money I want, but I got to do what they say.
But it would put him in a compromised position.
Yes, but I'm being honest about it. The vacuum and the blind spot is that then everyone around him in his cabinet and everyone that works there, even down to mid-level people, are now getting multi-million-dollar contracts for companies like AT&T and stuff just to even mention something to the
No,
president.
but hold on. But before you go any further, you said AT&T. Has it been proven that it's AT&T, or are you just saying AT&T like companies, like
Let's
large
just say,
companies?
I'm not saying AT&T is bad. I think AT&T is overall a good
So,
company.
but is AT&T doing something bad?
No, I was mentioning that as a Fortune 500 company.
Okay, but it's not AT&T.
No, it's not AT&T.
So we shouldn't say that. See, this is why you need someone that's like a fact checker right
well,
next to you.
no.
Going, slow down.
The media will say I'm wrong.
Right.
About that, but okay.
Okay, but
no,
it's-
hold on. His personal lawyer, the one that ended up going to jail, actually, Michael Cohen was getting money from AT&T. Go ahead and pull it up. I mean, I was just trying to give you a gestalt, quick
I
analysis.
understand. But I just want to. I've told you before. What you really need on your show is like a legit journalist who's right next to you with a laptop, going, "Alex, hold on, just slow down."
But I think you're right about that because
you get so much right, but
Yeah.
when you get something wrong, that's what
what
people
you gotta
jump at.
understand
Look, AT&T confirms it paid Trump lawyer Michael Cohen's company.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
See, Joe,
Yeah.
they're always saying that I'm making stuff
Right,
up. They're lying.
right.
Now, every once in a while, my memory used to be photographic, but from everything I've done, it's not as good as it used to be. It moves really quick, okay? So when I'm saying stuff, it's just data knowledge, okay? And then I can like, okay, yeah, did I say that? Yeah, it's real. Check it out. But I'm not trying to make stuff up. 99% of the time.
Here it is. AT&T confirmed Tuesday evening that paid President Trump's personal lawyer Michael Cohen in 2017 for, in quotes, insights into understanding the new administration.
Insights.
I love that. So how much did they pay him? $200,000 in 4 separate payments of $50 in late 2017, early 2018. Interesting.
Yeah, but he got paid. I think the number was $10 million total from a handful of companies.
But
And
look
by
how
the way,
they did it.
AT&T
They did it shady. Look, Avenatti alleged that Essential Consultants, a shell company set up by Cohen before the election, to pay Stormy Daniels was paid by several corporations, including AT&T. At the time, AT&T was seeking government approval for its acquisition of Time Warner, CNN's parent company.
It's a merger.
It's a dirty world.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, AT&T is a sweetheart compared to Google and Facebook and Twitter and all these people. So I wasn't attacking them. I was giving an example of how everyone in his entourage becomes a lobbyist because he thinks, I'll just cut lobbyists off. He's not taking any money. But then everyone around him becomes a lobbyist. That's what
Do you
I'm saying.
worry about the influence of people like Jared Kushner have? Because I know that a lot of his supporters, like Ann Coulter, who's Trump's biggest supporter, goes, I don't love the idea that he hired his children and that they have a lot of connections.
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. People were really pissed who were patriots of the intelligence community and in other areas, but also enemies of Trump, that Kushner had so much influence. But now Kushner's gotten a lot of respect because he's actually gotten a lot of huge peace deals done that nobody else could do for 50 years. And
That's
now,
interesting how little press those peace deals
Yeah,
have
they're getting
gotten.
none. No press.
Yeah, it's really concerning.
so now, I mean, they were pissed, like, who's this kid? And now everything he touches turns to gold.
But he looks like the Omen. We've covered this
He looks like a
multiple
little
times.
devil.
He looks like
Yeah.
Damien.
And he paid twice what it was worth for like 666 Park Avenue.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's not good.
That's not great.
Why would
That's
he
not
want that?
great.
Why would he want that?
I think it was more than twice. Look up 666. Is it Park Avenue? Or
Listen,
Maybe
maybe
he just
he's
thinks it's funny.
Maybe he's a Satanist. He's getting good deals down in the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean,
he's getting good deals.
They say the Antichrist gets good deals in the
Yeah,
Middle
if
East.
you're going to be a Luciferian, at least make peace in the Middle East.
Like
How about that? Maybe Satan's the only one that can do that.
AT&T's a really good cell phone company.
Yeah.
Right? Hey.
It's the way it works.
I mean, you want to...
When I mentioned AT&T, it's an example that popped in my head of an unofficial lobbying.
Well, I was happy that we called you on it because then we found out it's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, you've been correct about a lot of shit. This is my point from jump. I found out about agent provocateurs from your 9/11 Road to Tyranny video, where they used them at the World Trade Organization protests in Seattle in the late 90s. Like, I had no idea that it was a common practice to send in masked people to start smashing things during peaceful protests,
Right.
so then they could go
By the
in.
way, I can give you the straight dope on Antifa if you want to do that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. 666 Park Avenue project had been a black hole of cash for years until a sovereign wealth fund made a substantial investment for the property after Kushner was already serving as Trump's top advisor in the White House. Wow.
Okay. Might be a nice building, though.
What does it say? The Kushner Company? Is that what his company's called?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Kushner
his dad
Company's
went to
previously
prison.
found himself. The Kushner Company's 666 Park Avenue project. That's hilarious. I think that's beautiful.
His dad went to prison for, I believe, setting up his brother with like a prostitute. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're a fun family, the Kushners.
Wait a minute. The
Yeah.
dad set up the brother?
With a prostitute, with a cold girl, and take
we
them
are,
and try to
we
entrap.
are step by step. We're going to fact check every one of
No,
these
no,
fucking
this is
things.
well known.
This is
I
well known.
understand, but we need to have this for the
People like me and Alex don't just spout off. We
I
have
know.
the facts.
I know you have the facts, but I want to make sure. Here, Chris Christie, Jared Kushner's father, committed one of the most loathsome, disgusting crimes I prosecuted. Wow.
Listen, we fact check all of this.
That is crazy. Make that bigger for my old eyes. Look at this. Where does it say? According to the excerpts in the book, Republics by Axios and The Guardian, Christie claims the younger Kushner was behind his departure from Trump's inner circle after the 2016 election, writing that he was still apparently seething over the events that had occurred a decade ago. Well, what is the events of a decade ago?
They overprosecuted his dad. He should have gotten probation for trying to set up his brother with a hooker. Said he got a bunch of time.
Imagine your dad setting you up with a hooker.
It's crazy.
They
Say
try to
here-
set the other family
Okay.
member up.
Here's what if my father is guilty, I would. Mr. Kushner pled guilty. He admitted the crimes, Christie said. And so what am I supposed to do as a prosecutor? I mean, if a guy hires a prostitute to seduce his brother-in-law. Oh, it's his brother-in-law.
That's what he said.
His brother-in-law.
His brother-in-law.
Okay. I got confused. And then videotapes it and then sends the videotape to his sister to attempt to intimidate her from testifying before a grand jury. Do I really need any more justification than that? Holy shit.
But it wasn't to intimidate. That's his interpretation. That stuff goes on divorces all the time. People go videotape the other person cheating.
So is
that's
his
why it was wrong. He
brother-
went to prison because he wasn't doing it. He was doing that to show that the person testifying was wrong. Of course, you're trying to influence testimony with the truth. It's this idea that yes, they're cheating. I told you they were. Here's the proof. How does that become fraud?
Okay, I'm confused. So he set up his brother-in-law with a prostitute
To show that this was been going on before, which he'd already alleged.
Okay, as part of the plot, Kushner hired a prostitute to lure Shoulder into having sex in a Bridgewater, New Jersey motel room. First of all, if you find yourself in a Bridgewater, New Jersey motel
You're
room,
fucked.
Run. As the, hidden, as the hidden camera rolls, a tape of the encounter was then sent to Kushner's sister and Shoulder's
Look,
wife,
I know the whole
Esther.
story, so just trust
Yeah,
us.
we try. I just made a comment that you start thinking about like who's running these stories, and then Hunter Biden's running around with underage people on a laptop. You start going, why does everyone work for a Ukrainian gas company? Like, who are these people running the country?
Yeah,
It's
the
a
West
little
controlled
strange.
Ukraine, so they just use that as the money laundering op. It's not the Ukrainians running us.
Right.
They use it as that. But let's expand on this, Joe. What I'm getting at here is, I didn't bring up AT&T. They're a good company overall. They're not the ones censoring and stuff. Okay, it's the big tech. The reason I raised that was just the one that popped in my head, the first one. It's massive what's going on. I was just being honest that Trump's
Well, it's
tried
only
to...
a couple $100,000. Like, I mean, as much as that sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, but the bigger ones, like he's talking about
Communist
Google,
China.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Communist China's even bigger.
Okay.
It's bigger than big tech. It literally spends hundreds of billions of dollars buying us off. It owns Hollywood. It owns a lot of the big telecoms. It owns the majority of our debt. And I've got articles in the LA Times and New York Times I brought for you where they say Xi Jinping must destroy Trump to save America. He was our leader. And then at the Davos group, he said 3 years ago, I will destroy Trump. I will work with Hollywood. I've got all his quotes right here. And Xi Jinping said, I want to overthrow American democracy. I want to repudiate it. I want to discredit it. And Xi Jinping admits he admires Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin.
Okay, but isn't he doing
That's
that because
crazy.
that seems crazy?
Yeah.
You can pull it up.
I understand.
I'll show you.
Step by step here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't he doing that because of Trump's trade deals? Like the trade deals that Trump wants to do with China are not nearly.
Well, they're not one-sided for him. I
Right.
mean, here's what happened. Special interests in the U.S. went in and opened up China, in the 70s when most of them didn't have running water or electricity. They're hardworking, smart folks. But by one-sided trade deals where we have higher tariffs on them than they on us and all the rest of it, or vice versa, through those deals, they use the slave labor of China to then take over manufacturing worldwide. And so China's a client state of the globalist. And so now the Washington Post, the LA Times, the New York Times, I brought you the articles here, Dreams of Red Emperor, the relentless rise of Xi Jinping. And it says in these articles, he must destroy American Western Christian values. We love him and we accept China as our master. I have the goddamn articles.
Right, but who's
this
saying-
is treason.
but-
The
okay,
freaking
but
dude
who's
right
saying
here,
that? Who's
Washington
saying that?
Post.
But who's saying that quote? Who's that quote?
Here, I'll give them to you. This is the Washington Post, and there's a huge article, LA Times.
I understand, but the quote that you just said about he must destroy
Just
Trump.
like I said, AT&T gave money unofficially lobbying, and you pulled it up. I read the article. I'm not giving you an exact.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm asking you is who you quoted someone, but who did you quote when you said that?
I'm quoting from when I read these again this morning before I came here.
Right.
What I remember, David Don Durley,
Oh, that guy.
and this Chinese lady that works.
I think
for
he's talking about the prevailing sentiment of what they feel they must
I
do.
understand, but
yeah.
when you quote somebody, it's best.
No.
to have
I mean,
it.
I just said in these articles.
Right.
Well, look at the headline: Xi's choice: destroy Trump or save him from weakened America. I mean,
Right.
Xi needs to destroy Trump. The Chinese dictator needs to destroy our president.
So, do you think that they're doing that because Trump wants to change the trade deals?
You know
with
what
China?
Trump said? Trump didn't start a trade war. He ended our surrender. We have been surrendered for 40 years with China, where they don't take our goods, but we take all of theirs. And they manipulate their currency, but we haven't manipulated ours. Where we have carbon taxes that Obama put in to shut down over half our coal plants that are clean. And our electricity prices went up where you could not run a factory here competitively against China. So when Joe Biden says we're going to cut off all the fossil fuels, not just fracking,
Right.
if you did that, we wouldn't just go bankrupt. We'd starve to death. 75% of our power comes from fossil fuels.
I understand. Let's step by step again.
Okay.
Are coal plants really clean?
100% clean.
How is that possible?
I'll tell you.
Please.
Okay, there's two different types of major power plants.
When he says clean coal, I roll my eyes every time. When Trump's like clean coal, clean,
Well, that's because the engine
Amazing.
is so damn good.
is it?
I'll tell you.
Please.
They had old-fashioned coal plants. China doesn't have one scrubber or filter on their coal power plants. And China doesn't have clean-burning coal. There's one place in the United States that has major deposits of coal that is such pure carbon. You don't even need scrubbers. Nothing comes out but carbon dioxide and water. Well, we know water's not bad, so they list carbon dioxide. People think it's monoxide. It's like in studies, if you say the scientific name of water, most people in Penn and Teller skits on the street will say banned dihydrogen monoxide. If you go out on the street, Joe Rogan, and ask 100 Austinites, dihydrogen monoxide is everywhere. If you get too much of it, you can die, drowned. And most people will say, I want to ban dihydrogen monoxide. That's the scientific name of water. Same thing if you do the scientific name of salt. Sounds scary. Well, so hydrogen monoxide is the bad one. Hydrogen dioxide is the good one. That's the life cycle. On Earth, there's light, there's water, there's oxygen, and there's carbon dioxide. Those are the four things you've got to have for life. And so they've gotten people convinced to say coal is dirty. It puts out carbon dioxide and water vapor. And so until about the 70s, we were still burning dirty coal full of mercury, all of it. They found huge deposits of clean burning coal Out west, enough in Utah to run the whole world for over 1,000 years.
Well, what's the difference between the coal? Like,
Well, let me tell you.
Okay, please.
One coal is so damn pure, and it's only in the United States in major deposits, that basically you don't even need to put scrubbers on it. But our scientists in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, because they realized that dirty coal has mercury in it, has all these horrible toxins, they put scrubbers on it. That's when you drive by a coal plant, it's this big, huge buildings and wires and hoses and big, huge steel. It looks like an alien spaceship. That's because it's called distillates. They know how to burn it and then take off all the chemicals, all the toxins, and make plastics and make chemicals and make pesticides and make everything else that comes out of that. And then out of the stack comes nothing but water. They have sensors on it. Nothing but water and carbon dioxide. Totally clean, totally pure. So that's what's going on.
So carbon monoxide is what everybody's worried about. Carbon dioxide increasing in the environment has no negative effects?
Well, let's talk about it. They've done ice core samples, okay, all over the Antarctic and the Arctic. They've done mud core samples in all over the world, but mainly in Siberia and Wales for some reason.
Jamie, I hope you're Googling.
I haven't got some decent stuff to pull up, but he's
Go ahead. Yeah.
better right now.
So what happens is they can go back 20,000, 100,000, 200,000 years at least in the ice, and they know that they've also done spectrometers into stone. They can scan it till it was there. Carbon dioxide was over 500 times stronger in the time of the T-Rex. Okay, in the Jurassic Age. That's why plants grew so fast, things were so big. There was a higher oxygen level. Just like Mars lost its atmosphere, it used to have an ocean, they've now gone and proven. It lost its atmosphere because it's a smaller planet, couldn't hold it. The truth is the Earth's losing its atmosphere. So what's crazy is we come right along at this time, pump up all of this juice and all this carbon that was produced on the surface with plants and animals that ran down in cracks into the Earth. We're now pumping out all that carbon saved from millions of years ago and actually terraforming the planet, putting more carbon dioxide in that we actually need right at this time. Like aliens figure this out or something.
But hold, please. Isn't carbon dioxide responsible for an increase in the temperature of the Earth?
But they said that we would have a 7 increase. They said that by 2013, all that LA would be flooded and New York would be flooded. All that's lies.
Okay, but let's forget about what they said in the past. Mm-hmm. What they're saying now is that carbon dioxide increase is responsible for an increase in the temperature of the Earth.
Which we hope it does. Because we
hope it increases the temperature of the Earth?
The last ice age...
Hold on.
Joe,
the
last ice age
temperature, but the increase in the temperature of the Earth is responsible for the increase in hurricanes, the frequency and the power of the hurricanes.
If you look up the spectrum in the last 100 years, hurricanes have gotten weaker. That's all media hype. But let me just tell you.
Oh, Jesus.
Joe, I swear to God I can prove all this to you. This is so huge for your audience.
Are you a carbon dioxide salesman?
Listen. Well, they always say I'm getting money from oil companies. I'm not. But can I please tell you what's going on?
Yes. Please do.
You are a carbon-based life form. Let me show you what I came here with in my notes. I have right here in my notes the carbon conspiracy. And that is specifically what I wanted to get into here with you in my notes, because this is everything.
Are you a climate change denier?
Well, see, imagine how that's how they use that term.
Right.
Are you a climate change denier? It's like a 9/11 denier.
Right.
No, the towers got blown up. Our government had prior warning, and they've been funding Al Qaeda, and all that came out later in Senate reports and the 28 pages.
Let's not go there just now, because we're going to go down a rabbit hole.
That's true, but let's go to carbon. I agree with you there.
Okay. What is Joe Rogan made up out of?
Carbon.
Okay.
Carbon-based life form. We are literally stardust. That's a song, right?
Exactly. What are trees made out of?
Tree stuff.
Carbon.
Yeah, but carbon-based life forms. It's most
the
things
whole
on the
planet. And so this is the carbon cycle. This is in the mainline textbooks.
I understand.
So just like they come out and assault reality now and say a little boy is biologically a girl. I don't care if he grows up wants to be he's a girl.
Rabbit hole. Let's not go down these.
But I'm saying it's not science. They go, the science is settled. There's not two genders. Fucking S.
Okay, hold on. Let's not go down that road. If you want to go down that road in the future, we will.
No,
right now,
I'll do it. Let me tell you.
I want you to talk about carbon.
I know.
I don't want to get off track here because isn't there a delicate balance with the temperature on Earth and the rising sea levels and the melting of the ice caps? This has all been established by a lot of
they say the science is settled. It's not.
But very concerned environmentalists have said that an increase in the temperature of the Earth could be disastrous for human civilization.
It's a power grab.
Are you sure it's a power grab?
I am absolutely.
But how do you know that it's not all? How do you know that?
Because they're arrogant and they've all written white papers on it that I've read and I can give you.
White papers?
Yeah, it's not what you see in the news. They're called white papers. And Joe, this
is why people get banned from the internet. These kind of conversations.
We better ban it right now.
Let's not ban it. I'll throw that out. Let's just not.
Certainly not ban the Dillon YouTube page. Which
let me tell you the story.
Fantastic, by the way.
What?
Your YouTube page.
Thank you.
Let me tell you this right now.
It'll be up for another 24
hours.
They
have called in the European Union for the arrest of scientists that question the cause of anthropogenic warming or if it's man-made.
Okay, but there is a contributing factor. Scientifically, it's been proven that increased carbon dioxide has an effect on the temperature of the Earth. Do you agree with that?
It depends on the models they use. Sometimes actually more carbon dioxide can cause a cooling effect, but generally can cause a heating effect. It depends on potash in the atmosphere, volcanic ejections at the time, and also solar maximum and minimums.
If you had,
sunspot activity is the main generator of planetary climate.
But if you had a giant swath of scientists that are examining carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, would you agree that the majority of them believe that it's a contributing factor to the warming of the Earth?
It's a mantra where they say the majority of scientists agree that climate change is caused by humans. I agree with climate change. The only thing that's constant is change. Of course the climate's changing. What I'm telling you is carbon dioxide was 50 to 500 times, depending on the time period, higher millions of years ago than it is now.
Right, but you also realize that was
What do you
before we got
think?
hit
This
by
might
an
be interesting
asteroid.
to hear. What do you think the motivation is for them to present the evidence in this way? Like you said, this is a fraud and everything. What? Because I've heard you talk about this before. What do you think their goal is by linking all of this climate change to man-made activity? What's the goal?
The goal is a centralized world government that can then monitor all carbon and control it as a toxic bad thing. You're carbon, it makes you bad. That didn't work, so now it's, you have a cold, you're dirty with COVID. We've got to track you and tax you and control you. So the new thing is COVID to cut the carbon footprint, and they admit that.
Before we go down the COVID rabbit hole, the environmentalists are not in bed with the industrialists. The environmentalists they're not in bed with all these people that think that they can control the world's...
Actually, BP and ExxonMobil and others are the biggest funders of the climate change movement.
They're the biggest funders of it?
Contrary to what you hear.
How so?
All right, Joe, here's the thing. I understand this, and you're a smart guy, and I understand you want to go over each piece of this. Let's go through...
Yeah, well, we have to. I
agree. Let's go through each piece.
But understand. You understand that the way you talk, and I enjoy the way you talk.
It's fast.
But the way you talk is fast, and you go on these long tangents, and then you go to frogs being gay, and a lot of things happen. I want to do
people
it...
can... Because I'm putting a record out.
Yes, but I want to do it step by step.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
But most people... The vast majority, here we got here. BP commits $100 million to fund new emissions reductions projects.
But let me just go back for a second.
Okay.
And I appreciate you backing me up.
Yes.
Let me break down.
Are frogs gay?
You want to get to the frog stuff now?
Connect it all.
That is, by the way.
Why do I feel like I'm stoned and I haven't smoked any pot?
Yeah. I wish I
If
was
he's not going to
stoned.
smoke it, I'm going to...
God, it's sober October. I have 6
break
days
the
left.
goddamn rule and then go an extra day.
I cannot. I'm like George Washington.
Well, hey, on election night, we're going to get hammered, right?
Election night, I'm getting hammered.
But I'm going to pop in.
You can pop in. But we've told everybody now that we're doing a live
No,
election
we're
night
not.
show. Kyle,
Yeah.
Kyle Kalinske,
That's-
Tim Dillon, me, Alex Jones going to pop in live.
It's going to be fun.
It's live, so while you're watching the world
Yeah.
burn, live. Yeah.
All right, Joe, here's the thing. It's just like... Let me explain it to you because I love you. And, dude, it's just like when you said, what's the AT&T deal? And I went, look it up.
But listen, we did look it up, and we found
This
some
is bigger.
information.
This is bigger. Okay. Let me get my brain focused here for a minute. Let me just try to explain
Please
it.
do.
I've literally interviewed probably, let's not exaggerate, 200 top scientists, from petroleum geologists to astrophysicists to astronauts to quantum mechanics to petroleum.
Buckle up, because I have two.
I know.
I'm a moron.
I know.
Okay?
You're a moron?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, trust me.
Joe, you're a smart guy, and I'm not. That's his cover. He is smart. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I'm a smart moron.
Yeah, right. Okay, let me tell you what's going on. I'm going to say it again. You can go to any major study. Just type in carbon dioxide levels were hundreds of times higher in Earth's early past.
Well, I understand that, but also I understand
But
that there was
wait. You can look at the ocean models then.
Yes.
You can look at the ocean models.
Right.
And it's true, the oceans did cover more
Yeah,
than
but
they do
Alex
now.
Jones, human beings weren't alive 65 million years ago, and the environment wasn't compatible for us.
We put out a fraction we hadn't developed yet.
Right, well, we were moles.
We hadn't, shrews.
Shrews, yeah.
But my point is, you're right.
Yeah.
Is that
Last time CO2 was this high, humans didn't exist. The last time there was as much carbon dioxide, CO2 in the earth, CO2 levels are far higher now than they have been for any time during the past. And oil, a single CO2 molecule can remain in the atmosphere. What'd you do?
That was just getting parts of it.
Oh, I see. I understand. Oh, okay. So let's just go to what this says. And what is this paper that's is this climatecentral.org? Okay. The last time there was this much carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere, modern humans didn't exist. Megatooth sharks prowled the oceans, blah, blah, blah. All right. As we near the record for the highest CO2 concentrations in human history, 400 parts per million, climate scientists worry about where we were then and where we're rapidly headed now, according to the data gathered by Mauna Loa Observatory in Hawaii, dope spot. The 400 ppm mark may briefly be exceeded this month when CO2 typically hits a seasonal peak.
Sure, and I've had top scientists on, I've had climatologists on about the Keeling curve. I can tell you all this.
Threshold, according to Ralph Keeling, the researcher. Carbon dioxide is the most important long-lived global warming gas. And once it's emitted by burning fossil fuels,
it helps us keep our atmosphere.
Hold, please. But once it's emitted by burning fossil fuels such as coal and oil, a single CO2 molecule can remain in the atmosphere for hundreds of years. Global CO2 emissions reached a record high of 35.6 billion tons in 2012, up 2.6% from 2011. Carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases warm the planet by absorbing the sun's energy and preventing heat from escaping back into space, which means it enhances the atmosphere, right?
But the sea levels didn't go up like they said.
Well, aren't they melting? But it's a process.
Al Gore said by 2013.
Al Gore.
Okay, Joe, but listen, this is one guy's take.
I know, but Al Gore's out there flying around.
I know. You found a guy admitting that it used to be higher than it is now. I'm telling you, it used to be way higher than it is now. This is
right, but then the asteroid hit the Yucatan, killed all the dinosaurs, and changed the entire atmosphere on purpose.
I don't want to
of the planet
with a dark winter.
Yeah, it was very bad for everything.
Caused by atmospheric dust.
For a long fucking time, right?
One major volcano, like Mount St. Helens, they estimated, put out more dust than decades of human dust.
Yes.
And human dust is what helps cause nuclei to form to cause storms. So we are affecting our environment. But most of the astrophysicists and most of the physicists I've talked to, and most of the climatologists I've talked to, they have broken down that the sun, by magnitude, is 98% of the driver of what happens. That's why when the sunspots take place, that's an coronal ejection from the sun, and one of those shoots radiation in our direction, it'll be clear blue sky, but they know when we get hit by that, it hits our magnetic field and causes an ionization of the atmosphere and electrification of it, and so that causes the giant storms. So the main driver of climate is the sun, and I think everybody, doesn't be a scientist to know, what's the main thing that Earth's living off of?
The sun.
The sun. And so they're telling us that carbon dioxide does this. What happens is carbon dioxide goes up, they said can be in the atmosphere for hundreds of years. It's normally absorbed by plants immediately, who they've got studies. They have found giant crocodile skeletons from just 10,000 years ago in the central Sahara, when hundreds of square miles is nothing but dunes. 10,000 years ago, it was lush jungles and beautiful, but they had goats, and they ate all of the plants and
there's
killed the rest.
Also the Younger Dryas theory of asteroid impacts that they think ended the ice age.
12,000 years ago.
Yeah, 2 impacts. I believe there's 12, and then somewhere between.
But the answer is
12.
we don't know, and so they've now looked at all these big models, saying that it's all carbon dioxide, and it's not. It's the sun, it's asteroids, it's tectonic, it's electromagnetic from the Earth's core.
I understand all this, but isn't CO2 emissions the one thing that we can control? So human-created global warming gases like CO2 emissions. If we can put a cap on that, wouldn't you agree?
Let me ask you a question.
If we continue to put that stuff in the atmosphere and it continues to get higher and higher and higher levels of CO2 in the atmosphere, wouldn't
the studies show it's going to make deserts become green again, and plants are going to absorb the carbon.
What studies are these?
You can look them up.
Okay, let's find out.
And that's why the left even says.
But if you're going to say something like that, and I'm not arguing with you, but if you are going to say something like that, that's a very bold thing to say. You should probably not just say look them up. There should be something.
No, let's type it in. There's hundreds of them. I actually brought like over 50 articles right here.
Do you have something that you've read that makes you so confident that you can say this?
I actually know what the plant studies show, where in greenhouses they grow plants with higher carbon dioxide, and plants can grow up to 3 times faster. They live longer.
Of course, plants live off carbon dioxide.
And what do they put out more? Oxygen.
Well, this one thing that has been proven is that there's more plants now than there have been in a long fucking time.
There's a global greening happening,
yes,
countering us losing our atmosphere up until this point. The Earth has less atmosphere than it did 1 million years ago, and it's like God did this or something, where we discovered all this oil, or it's just blind luck that we are terraforming the planet back to an earlier, healthier state by taking ancient carbon that was under the ground and putting it back into the atmosphere.
But isn't the problem that along the way we're also increasing the temperature of the planet, and we are not aligned with a higher temperature?
Here's the truth. We don't know. We don't know. But in 1963, the Club of Rome came up with a limits to growth plan, and they had models and actuaries. And I have copies of this in my film Endgame, seminal film. It's free online. Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement predicts a virus release to lock things down. Everything's now happening because it's in their own documents. And in the 1963 Limits to Growth Club of Rome plan, they said, we believe there'll be a global ice age by 2020, because the last ice age ended about 12,000 years ago, and we're set for that. We're going to tell the public that actually carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is bouncing solar radiation off the Earth, because we've seen volcanoes cause this darkening effect and freezing. So we believe, our scientists believe, that carbon dioxide is going to make the Earth freeze by 2020. And so we've got to have a global regime to take control of all the factories and all the energy and put a tax in for global government in the name of stopping the ice age. Then by about 1987, they went, actually, we think it's going to heat up instead. So they flipped the propaganda. Ask anybody you know.
Okay, but don't you understand that science back then didn't have as much data as they have now? So their models and what they had predicted in 1963 is faulty compared to the information they have in 2020.
Yeah, just like Fauci said, 2.5 million would be dead
But again,
from COVID. It was 200,000.
But worldwide, what is it?
Worldwide, tuberculosis killed 20 million people, 1.4 million here last year, but nobody cares.
Kill?
Yeah.
Well, COVID killed a lot of people.
COVID's not even killed a
worldwide.
million worldwide.
What?
Not even a million worldwide.
No, is that true?
Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
Well, how do we know?
Oh, we use UN models. Again, they're our boss. Since when did the WHO say the lockdown has to go on? Now they go, oh, we're against the lockdown. Your nation states that it's their fault because they know millions are starving to death from the lockdown.
That is true and very
Yes.
underreported.
Yeah.
That the WHO has now come out against lockdown, saying that the reaction can't be a worse effect than the actual disease
So
itself.
let me back Alex up with the climate change.
Please.
It's like there's certainly, we're contributing to man-made global warming, but also, what are you going to do? What are we going to do?
I don't know. What's
You know,
going on?
I mean, that's
Can
the other
can I
question. It's
pause
like, what
for
are we
a second?
gonna do?
Why does his mic sound weird? Is it he's hot? Is he on it, or is it how I'm hearing it? I'm hearing like a breakup of his mic.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds
does?
fine to me, yeah.
That's weird. Okay, I'm sorry. It must be me.
Jamie's really low. You sound great. He sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the climate control? Because that's very interesting. Like the idea of using climate to because, as you said with COVID, and we talked about this, we give up a lot of rights, right, in the name of coronavirus.
Exactly. Look, there's real issues. We don't really know what's going on. They want to be able to track all carbon and tax it with a AI surveillance grid with a social credit score over it.
Yeah.
And they admit all of that. That's Joe. They tell us what they're
Okay,
going to do.
I understand that, but do you understand that the environmentalists who are concerned are not? There's a giant amount of them that are legitimately concerned that we're ruining the
Yes,
earth.
I understand the greenhouse
with
effect.
fossil fuels.
I understand the greenhouse effect.
But these people, the reason why they're acting, the reason why they're trying to get people on electric cars and trying to get people off of fossil fuels, hold it, please. They're legitimately concerned. Like, I don't believe that these actual environmentalists.
Sure,
are
I
in
agree
on
with you,
some
but I mean, here's the deal:
global
the new
conspiracy.
Hummer looks badass. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. But I'm not getting one because I don't want to contribute to global warming.
You don't want to contribute to global.
Listen, be serious. Did you know that on average more carbon is spent for electricity into a car than 93 octane gasoline?
Well, I would believe that because I would think it takes a lot to make a fucking electric car. But once the car is made,
no. Transmission lines. You lose up to half of transmission, and most of it's coal powered, brother.
so most
Per
of the electricity,
megawatt, it's more.
So when I'm plugging my Tesla in, and I think, because that's how I like to think, I'm a good guy. I'm plugging my Tesla in. I'm helping save the world. I'm not, because I'm contributing to power.
No, you're driving. You're contributing to putting carbon dioxide back in and oxygen and re-terraforming the planet. You're doing a badass job. The biggest energy guzzlers, electric cars, are badass. They are putting out more carbon than anybody. Yeah, they don't come out the tailpipe. They come out the power plant top. Woo!
Okay, but what about?
I love electric cars. Carbon.
Listen.
Yeah, team carbon. Carbon.
How do you feel about
carbon?
Okay, how do you feel about nuclear power?
I absolutely hate it.
Why do you hate it? Isn't it clean?
94. Joe, I'm not trying to tear you up.
Don't tear me up. I don't know anything. I told you I'm a moron.
No. I used to be for nuclear power.
Oh, what happened?
I actually did research.
What research did you do?
They're always saying it's totally clean, no problem. But then you can look at the UN's own numbers, which I believe, the International Atomic Energy Agency. Look this up, CBS News. 94% of nuclear plants are leaking at dangerous levels. Look this up.
Pause. Jamie, 94% of nuclear power plants are leaking at dangerous levels. Isn't the problem that we're using old tech like Fukushima?
Now you see you're smart.
Yeah.
And I'm not just, you always know everything, Joe. The average power plant age is 36 years. Almost all these power plants the life is 20 to 35 years. Fukushima was already a decade older than it was supposed to be, a General Electric model using plutonium.
Radioactive leaks found at 75% of U.S. nuke sites.
Yeah, it's worse than that. It's 94%.
Okay, well that's not good.
I don't know why 94 doesn't pop up. That's in the UN
But
report.
wouldn't it be possible with innovation that they currently have access to?
Yes,
to
yes,
make
yes.
nuclear
But
power
you talk about
plants-
corrupt companies. I don't listen. If people actually ran these right, and the executives, here's an example: BP. I think oil's great. It has toxic problems. We should clean it up. We should find alternatives. There's all sorts of clean energy we should go to that isn't. Solar's great. Whatever. They got fission, fusion, a bunch of stuff coming down. Take one of the best films out there because it's so accurate. Because I had lawyers on from I read the transcript of the trial. The Event Horizon with BP. They literally have all these degreed engineers out there, and BP calls them up from England to Houston and says, "You're spending $25 million a day on the super deep experimental well. We've decided to not pour concrete, they call it mud, in on top of this. The executives say we'll save $25 million a day if you dump water." And all the engineers went, "We have mathematical equations, just like water boils at a certain amount. Okay, or we have a certain number of chromosomes. This is fact."
Yeah.
And they, on record, go, "You're fired if you don't. Order them to dump water into it." So they follow the order, dump water in for 5 days, and it blows up because water didn't have enough pressure to hold what was going to be coming out when they finally hit that giant oil and gas deposit down there at 20,000 feet under the ground or whatever it was. Super deep well. It was deeper than that. So you watch that movie with Kurt Russell and the rest of it, and Marky Mark.
Wasn't Event Horizon the one where they find?
I'm sorry, Event Horizon is where they go.
Yeah, Event Horizon is a spaceship.
Yeah, that's
That's what I'm
the one
sorry.
where
Six-
they go.
I'm
to
trying
the
to remember
wormhole,
oil in
and
Event Horizon. I'm like, wait a minute.
Lawrence
What?
Fishburne, right?
Here's
Yeah,
my
I think.
They go to hell.
here's my
Yeah.
brain.
Deepwater
Deepwater
Horizon.
Horizon.
Yeah, but pull up
Okay.
Event Horizon because that's a great fucking movie.
I love that movie. It's like they go into
Yeah, it's a
hell,
good
they
one.
go into a new
It's a
dimension.
good one. Also
Sam-
about BP.
But see how my brain
Sam-
got that wrong? But it was not on purpose.
No, it's okay. That's the shit. He pulls his eyeballs out. He tells everybody. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
That's a great fucking movie. Pure evil.
But listen, I'm not trying to rant here. What I'm telling you, Joe,
love
is it's the same thing with nuclear power plants. Why would the executives at BP order their engineers to do something that was going to blow up? They just said, "You engineers are full of crap.
Do you
We're going to
think
make
that they
money."
might just be arrogant engineers on Adderall and they made a big mistake?
Well, no. Yeah, that's what
Could
happened.
be. Could be.
That's what happened.
That is what happened?
Well,
Well, those guys are probably tweaked out, right? Those executives.
what I'm saying, it
They're
wasn't
probably working
engineers.
16
It was
hours
the
a day.
executives.
Yeah, but executives. That's what I'm saying.
Why do you think they were like, keep pouring water in it, keep pouring water in it?
Because they were insane.
Right.
I mean,
okay.
that's what I'm saying about
Okay,
these nuclear...
so the engineers are at the mercy of these executives who don't have the degrees the engineers have, and they made a crucial error, and they forced the engineers to do something that was ultimately.
And so I was
devastating.
agreeing with you about we should listen to scientists and engineers. I was just going back to your point that, yeah, we don't know about the warming. We don't know what it's doing. The models they all use on warming factor out the sun.
Right.
And you can't factor out the sun in an equation. I've had other scientists that factor the sun in, and they think, despite all we're doing, that within the next 200 years we're going to a very serious deep ice age.
I think Alex's point is that in all of these things, there are legitimate things. COVID has there are real things. People are getting sick. Global warming, to an extent, I'm sure is happening. Of course, it's happening. But then there are also nefarious characters that want to use that to take away your freedom. There are people that don't want you owning a car. There's all these legacy systems. Whitney Webb, who's a journalist who came on my show, said a lot of people didn't want to reopen the economy until they remade the economy and got rid of all these legacy systems. And this is a doc with Eric Schmidt, who was the head of Google, and you can look it up. And they were saying, they were considering these legacy systems like cash, private ownership of cars, things like that, like getting rid of all of these things that are distinctly American ways of life, and just saying that we don't want you to own a car.
This is the most important thing that's been said here today.
Yeah.
That's what it's in my notes.
That's why I'm here.
One step at a time, though. Why would they want to get rid of private ownership of cars?
Because they want control of people, and if you allow them to drive their own cars and use cash and run their own businesses and live in their own home.
Okay, but let's start with
Yes.
cars.
Vertical integration.
Let's start with
Yeah.
cars. Don't you think that maybe the concern is they're looking at the future of autonomous vehicles, which would drastically lower the mortality rate on highways, and they're saying,
I mean,
this
are
is
they concerned?
probably-
Are the people that run this country, Joe, concerned with the mortality rate? I mean, they're bombing other countries. They're doing this.
Okay,
they're
but
doing that.
stop.
They want
Come on.
centralized control.
Hold, please. We're conflating.
Steve Wozniak, the founder of
Stop,
Apple,
Stop.
says
Hold,
the best
hold
AI is
this
not as
thought.
good as an ant's brain.
Hold this thought.
Yeah.
But hold this thought.
The mortality
But
rate
you
on
can't-
highways.
Listen, you can't think
These
that
people are in the woods with hoods up.
But the people at Google that are working on autonomous vehicles,
Yeah.
they're not the same people that are trying to control governments all outside
it's
the
all-
world.
but it's
They're
controlled by
different
those guys.
people.
All of those people at Google want to usher in a brave new world. They want to remake the world in the
But
way
you're
that they
saying
want
all
to.
these people, some of them are just writing software to
Some
make
of
a
them
better
are
pixel.
sure.
Hey,
Some
Joe,
of them
Joe,
are.
Joe,
But there's
I
a
wrote-
lot of them that are not, Joe.
Joe, I
I
wrote
feel like
notes.
I'm the fucking
They're-
voice of reason.
You're
How
not.
is this possible?
They're
Joe?
the tech
You know why?
utopians.
I'm not
Joe?
high.
They're
I should be high.
they're
I'd be right along
utopians.
with you.
Yeah, you're very combative. Joe,
These are utopians. They want to create
Joe?
a paradise on earth
Joe, I brought you.
through control.
I brought you the documents, Joe.
We have
sucking on
the
the cigar.
Joe, we have the documents.
I'm sucking on the cigar like it's a jelly donut. I'm hoping I get to the weed on the inside.
Joe.
I'm licking the outside. What do you got there? A piece of paper?
Take it.
What does it say? What does it say? What does it say?
I think it's confirming what I
Looking
just
forward
said.
to the end of humanity. Well, what is this?
See?
Okay, but it's a person who wrote this. It's Adam Kirsch. He's probably got a pistol in his mouth right now.
No,
Right.
that's
Sorry,
the Wall
Adam.
Street Journal cover
I
story.
don't really mean that, Adam. I apologize.
That's the Wall Street Journal cover story. May I please tell you what I came here for?
You came here for a reason?
Yes.
Hold on. Here it is.